Oh,
So what was I saying? I was slaying. Lost my thought, but I'm still amazing. So what was I saying? Keep on playing. Midlife magic, man, I thought it was still blazing.
hi, mate. Hi.
I love it. I love your
Cough.
old intro. Cough, and I can't stop yawning. I've literally can't
I
stop
mean,
yawning.
disclosure, full disclosure. I've had a terrible virusy cold for the last 5 or 6 days. Today is the first day I feel human.
And I am a mother of 3 children, so I'm tired.
So that's just a big virus all year round.
My brain is tired, Lindsay. They won't stop talking and asking questions. Help. And I don't know the
However,
answer to any of the questions, so I'm tired. However, hello everyone.
they are lovely though.
They are. My God, they are.
So, when do we last see each other? Before Mother's
Cut.
Day?
Yes.
How was Mother's Day?
They're just so sweet. Did we see each other
Oh,
before Mother's Day? Maybe it was after. I don't know. But they asked for money so that they could go to the shop and buy me stuff. So I had to take them to Sainsbury's, give them money, and then
your
hide
money.
my money
Don't
to buy
look,
me a
don't
present,
look.
and then hide. And luckily, a friend of ours and a teacher from school turned up, so they kind of were very sweet and helped them. And then
Okay. Were
Holly
they on
had a
their own trying to choose stuff?
yeah, but I was near. I was like watching but not watching. So it's a funny age because when they're 9 and 10, they can't go around on their own, but they are kind of old enough and mature enough to go around on it. My kids are anyway. I've taught them to be quite responsible. So, other people would look badly upon me leaving them, but they can be left. But anyway, I was watching them from afar. But Holly had a meltdown because she took it. I waited for an hour, Lindsay, for them to. I was like so bored in Sainsbury's, and she had a meltdown because she just couldn't decide because she loves me so much. She wanted to get something amazing, and in
Right.
the end, I gave her my present because I really wanted. Because going through divorce, like he's taken some stuff and I've got some stuff and it's gradually splitting and I lost some pans and cookware and all that knives and stuff, so I really wanted it's so boring. I really wanted a pan with a lid on. I don't have one with a lid on, like a frying pan with a lid on.
That sounds the most midlife thing you've said on this
I
podcast
know, but
so
I
far.
really, really want one, but I haven't bought myself one because it's boring. But if somebody buys it for me as a present, it's less boring.
Of
So
course.
I convinced her to buy me with my own money something that I wanted, and it worked both ways. But they were very sweet. They got up, they made me breakfast, they decorated the whole house like ridiculously. They were so sweet. They were so sweet. And I just felt two things. I felt their love so hard. And also, it absolutely solidified the feeling of love I was missing
Yeah.
for most of my relationship. Like, it doesn't really matter when someone says I love you, you have to feel it. And that was often put upon, me. It was kind of my issue that I wasn't feeling it, but I don't think it is. I really feel their love and I feel your love and I feel friends' love, and it
You are very loved.
it solidifies how loved I am, how loved I feel. I love myself. Like, this sounds really big headed, but I fucking love myself at the moment, mate. Like, I'm really like loving myself. I'm having moments where, like,
I'm pleased for you. I think that's great.
I like Holly was like, oh, one of the kids was trying to roast me, and she was like, your mum's ugly. And and
What?
she said, well, they roast each other. And she was like, oh my God, my mum is like one of the prettiest mums in school. And I was like, yeah. Like, I just agreed with her. Whereas before I'd be like, oh, beaten
Oh,
down
you can't
and
say that.
no self-confidence. I had no self-worth. And
Yeah.
like, it's amazing how quickly you can make it come back. I feel like I really, really am loving myself at the moment, and my talent and my emotional capacity and my worth and my support for people and everything I give to the world that isn't necessarily just money. It
Well, yeah, yeah.
feels immense. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was really lovely. How about you?
Well, I think I obviously it's a difficult day. But saying that, I uh approaching life slightly differently this year. So things that could be very sad, I am trying very hard to go, right, how can I deal with this anniversary date, whatever, that is going to make it feel that I'm going to smile about it, that it's going to be a celebration, that
Yeah.
it's not to avoid it. It doesn't work for everybody, and it's an interesting one, this. I'd love to do an episode that touches on grief because
Mm,
I think it's it's very tricky and people find it really hard to talk about. They find it really hard to even ask me, and this is over a year on.
mm,
Like the number of very close friends that find it really hard to just say how talk about it at
mm,
all is really hard. So that's a separate podcast. But in general, I guess I some people think I'm absolutely mad for doing this, but for me it helps me no end to buy a card as I would have always done, to get flowers, to talk to her, to I've got a little area, as you know, where she's all over it. And I buy the card, write the card, open the card, read the card to her picture. Again, I don't mind that people could judge this and think I'm batshit. But this year was anything that makes you feel that you remember everything, connected, and that you're having that conversation in real time,
mhm,
I think turns it then into something that is sad, but would make you smile
mm.
or make your heart feel love. I guess that's how I dealt with Mother's Day.
And I think
And
that's why we're friends, because we also find the comedy in things,
mm,
sometimes in an un-PC way. We've often talked about your mum, like, fucking hell, mum, leave us alone today, because she
yeah, oh
keeps
yeah,
sending. So we're like, come on, mum, piss off.
we
We just
know.
need, yeah,
We
like,
just want 2 minutes together. Stop butting in,
and it is funny because we did have a cut while we were out, some
Yeah. Uh,
music, some things,
yeah.
and I don't know whether I believe or not. I think you're probably similar to me. You'll never really know. You get feelings, but it is nice to think that those things are a cheeky little nod. And depending on what your loved one who you've lost is like, often I find those signs are like their personality. Like if they were a bit cheeky or a bit funny or a bit
Yeah, yeah.
naughty, that sometimes the signs are like that.
Yeah.
So I love having that relationship with us where it's not all about, of course, I'll ask you how you are, but I think people approach it in a non-personal way. If they know you well enough, they
Yeah.
know that they don't have to be like, oh, Linz, how are
Well,
you
yeah.
doing? You're not that kind of person. So I think the trick is to approach people exactly how they are.
Yeah.
If you enjoy humor, if you enjoy, you can say, hey, how you dealing with losing your mum? What would she be saying right now?
Yeah.
Like you can talk to people about their loved one. It doesn't, and they can say, I don't want to talk about it. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But
It's
I think,
I want to say to people, it's always better to be asked than not.
and you don't have to approach it in a deathly serious way. Like
No.
you don't have to be like, oh, it's so
No.
sad, because it's not sad in the way that if you are grieving someone, that means you love them and you miss them. How wonderful. That's not sad. You had them in your life. How lucky. There's the aspect of course, I miss my dad and I cry and I love him and I miss him still. But how lucky that I get to cry over someone that I do miss.
Yeah.
How awful would it be to lose a parent and be like, good, bye, and never shed a tear?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're so lucky that we had people that we really flipping care about.
Yeah. And that you'll only ever really know the ocean of depth and sort of significance of them, I think, when they are gone, because the missing is the how often you think about them in a day,
Mm,
how much it's a part. You go, wow, I knew we had something special, but it just amplifies it tenfold because you can't, they're
Mm.
not there to kind of to say or do anything anymore, only in insofar as that you can keep talking out loud and that stuff. Anyway, that's just Mother's Day for me.
Well, and also, side note, my I don't speak to my mum, so she's alive as far as I know. But so that's another aspect that you lose
Well,
people
that
in different ways.
yeah. And I
There's
think
also
it
being mothers of lost children.
yeah,
I've lost a child, and so there's loads of aspects of Mother's Day that people forget. It's not just your
it's
mum,
a
your
it's
mum.
your mum. Did we talk about that
We
last
did talk
time?
about it last week. Your mum.
Yeah. And I can still laugh about that. And I've lost my
Yeah,
mum.
your mum.
So
Doreen,
Doreen,
getting a bit busy
oh
down
my
here.
God. She'd have the thing is, and this is the I feel like every time we do a podcast, I'm celebrating a life because
Yeah.
she would have been one of the first guests on this.
Well, she would have been listening like an absolute nutty fan, wouldn't she? She'd have got t-shirts printed. Like,
But
she'd been
would want
our
to be
number
on
one
here and
fan.
been eccentric and outrageous and say random
Yeah.
things that don't connect to anybody.
Yeah.
She'd have would have been talking about Mother's Day and should have gone talk about something to do with the butchers up the road. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well, maybe we should have an episode of what your mum would have said. We can ask you questions and
I
you can
mean,
try and answer
yeah,
Doreen's version. But it's good to celebrate life and lost ones and all sorts of stuff. I think
I agree.
it's nice to have Mother's Day for women. It's not just mums. There's loads of mums. I've got, your Auntie Lindsay. You're not related to my kids, nor am I, but you are surrogate relations to them, and as are lots of people in their life.
Yeah.
So mum is just a term. I think Mother's Day should be celebrated by all women.
Yeah, I agree. And I think women celebrating women generally. I mean, that's why I love International Women's Day and
Mm.
it's sort of loathed by people, but I think God, it should just be in general. Um, I see lots of things about lifting women and actually we need to do a bit more of that because a lot of the time we sit in isolation and coping with all these things and we find it difficult to chat to other women sometimes
Mm.
unless they're really close to us, and we've got this. I mean, this is like the dream.
This is why we did it, isn't it? I think it's
Um,
hard because we feel powerless still. You do feel like within the trouble with the patriarchy is it is about suppression in
mm,
general, and it's not always about good things. I think it's been a light has been shone on it more recently of the I think a guy said the other day, we've given you, what more do you want? We've given you the right to vote. We've given you, and you're like, well, that whole concept's hilarious. You haven't given us anything. We
yeah.
should have had it in the first place. We had to fight to get it back. Like it shouldn't be a fight. It shouldn't be a fight anymore.
I
And
still feel like as well, I saw a couple of things online in musical theatre. I still feel like I say people, the social aspect of social media and news and everything else still pits women against women
of course,
as a like
and
competitive
and I do think
bullshit
women buy
world.
into it as well. Women do buy into that thing.
Yeah.
They said a lot of hate on women, for example, Bonnie Blue, people who are on OnlyFans, all that is from women because they don't see it as empowerment and taking your power back and being in control of your sexuality. They see it as being exploited. And I think it's a fine line, isn't it? But a lot of the hate does come from women, and sometimes we get sucked into that world of hating on women
Well,
when we
and
shouldn't.
especially people you've never met and you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
Yeah.
other thing as well. I think why am I have I got an opinion on anyone that I haven't met and I don't know?
Well, we
Why
we believe the headline, don't we? Something comes out about Lizzo and
oh
then
yeah.
she's cancelled and everyone hates her. And you go, but why would I buy into that? It's not fact. Just because something, people think that things in the press because of the way the press is and guidelines and stuff, that everything is fact. And you're like, no, that's absolutely not the case. So you should take everything with a pinch of salt and think, Chapel Roan's a good example. They're trying to cancel her. And it seems like a ploy, doesn't it? These strong women who don't buy into things. She is not there for the male gaze. She talks about Palestine. She talks about
Yeah.
LGBTQ. She talks about trans rights. They don't like her. They don't want that. So she's sort of on the list of being cancelled. Not saying she hasn't done anything wrong, but it always seems a bit suspicious, doesn't it? When these strong women who are outspoken
Mm.
start to get cancelled, you're like, I'm going to take a step back and wait to
Yeah.
see. And like you say, never met her, so not got a personal opinion.
It'll be interesting to see how, we live in an age where people say, oh, women have more, more voice than ever. And you go,
Mm,
okay, I'm just going to take a little stall seat on that. And
mm,
I'm going to just watch how that plays out over the next couple of years and just see how far advanced we are with
mm.
an inclusive society. But we probably could talk about that for hours,
Yeah, is that
couldn't
the whole point
we?
of the pod? Pod,
The
pod,
whole
pod.
point of, I'm going to play this now.
Are we right or just grumpy? Are we wise or just tired? Is this principle or pouting that our patience has retired? Are we guardians of something or afraid of losing touch? Are we right or just grumpy?
I love it, mate. I'm just loving. I'm going to turn my fan off. Grandma needs a bit of cool. I'm loving all your clever little jingle wingles.
Snippets.
Do you know my request? Can I make a request for the
Yeah.
the world? Because we do have like 3 followers. Um, I'm very, very, very much into the group Lawrence at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Brother and sister group. That sounds like the kind of tune that they could cover.
Are we
So
right or are we grumpy?
if you're listening, Lawrence,
Yeah.
can
Can
you
you?
take this AI song and re-record
Yeah.
it for us? Because I absolutely flipping love you at the moment. I'm obsessed to the point where one of the twins, I let them pick something every day on Spotify, and she's now saying, "Can we have?" It's either Lake Street Dive or Lawrence. So Lawrence, if you're out
Nice.
there, yeah, get
Are
in
we right
touch.
or are we
Have
grumpy?
just on a side note quickly, have Trip got in touch with you after last week's episode? Did you get inundated with is your house
No.
full of free stuff?
Can I say they got back to me and actually a good way on a DM, which is nice and it's progressing.
Oh,
So I had to email and various
that
bits,
is
but
very surprising.
it was very surprising for me because they are quite big and I still think that we aren't doing this. We're not doing this for sponsorship, by the way. Can I just make that a very big thing?
I just think
Um,
it's funny. I like because everyone else does, and I love when they get stuff. I'm like, that's so cool.
well, and I don't, we would only ever talk about things on the podcast that we used, bought, or whatever. So,
Yeah. It's not
in
for that.
answer to that question,
I just think it's a
I
good
got some
experiment.
response, which was ridiculous,
That's lovely. Oh, thanks,
and
Trip.
also gives me hope for bigger corporations with little podcasts like this. But what's the most important thing with this podcast is we get more people who are going to subscribe and follow,
So
follow, follow, follow.
in this new section, Mrs. Jingle Pants,
Yes.
um, are we justified or grumpy? I don't want to, again, I love to piss on your fireworks daily. I would say I'm grumpy before you've even started.
No, but this isn't about that. It's really about whether between us, I'll give you a scenario. The verdict is it justified or are we just grumpy old? Right.
Do you not
And
think
we,
I'm just going to answer grumpy old for all of them though?
well, not necessarily, because you might go, no, I think we're justified in this. And we come to that decision together, but we should have a tally, really.
I
So I
haven't
would say,
even I haven't even seen these questions yet, so I don't know, but I'm assuming because of my personality, grumpy. But let's see.
wait,
Let's see.
I mean, anything could happen.
You'll find the lovely, positive silver lining.
Oh, I don't know
Where's your
today.
also, are you going to get your shitty cards out
Oh,
later?
yeah.
Are we going to do that?
We're going to do that
Sorry,
now.
I'm completely like ADHDing this podcast already, but I
It's
don't
all
want
right.
you to
You're guiding
feel
me through because
yeah,
she's getting over a little cold, isn't she? She's not quite full steam.
she's not full throttle.
She's not.
So I've got to remind her of the thing I hate because I like to punish myself.
After you saying, "Oh, you're going to find the positives in life and you're going to
Yeah.
have a lovely time."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're
Okay.
the juxta my pose, aren't you? You're the.
Well, oh my goodness me.
She knows I'm
Oh
going to hate it
God.
already.
Okay. It says,
It says.
go confidently in the direction of your dreams.
Yeah, that's a fucking given, isn't it? Well, what's it going to say? Go tentatively in the direction away from your dreams. Walk away from all your
I think
dreams
I
and
think the key
cry.
is confidence.
I think what I should do, mate, is take all your cards and I should write my own that are the opposite to each card.
Next time I see you, I'm going to give you the happiness box, and it'll probably be the only time that this has ever been turned into the cynical box.
Tentatively walk away from your live streams. There we go. That's
Yeah.
my twist on that. Because life sucks and you're never going to
So,
get what you want.
so, kids, if you're listening at home, life sucks, and you're never going to get what you want.
Yeah. That's what I tell my
I
kids.
mean, I think it's a genius bit of advice.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't keep your hopes too high. Have a good idea of your self-worth.
realistic,
Be
realistic goal
realistic.
setting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And see my the front cover would just say don't be a dick because I just think that covers everything.
But also, what I love is we do the cards, and I'm like, oh, I feel all this like sunflower.
You
And then
know.
we have a discussion, and 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Life sucks.
Life is a bit difficult.
Right.
Right. Are
Are
we
we
right or
justified
grumpy?
or yeah, right.
Yeah. So,
Go on.
okay. The first scenario I'm going to give you, or the first thing to discuss, happened to me this week a couple of times, and I just made a mental note of it. So, the issue is people watching videos in public on loudspeaker. No, look at your face. Um, no one, I mean, no one wants to hear, I don't think, TikTok out loud or whatever it is.
Six,
Discuss.
seven.
Twice it happened this week, and there was literally a room of about 20 people in the coffee shop. Nobody did a thing.
And this is the problem, isn't it? What do you do? Is the
Well,
discussion. Because I would say absolutely justified that most things come down to basic manners. Probably most things you're going to say
yeah, I
come
would say
down to
so.
basic flipping manners. And I would say a lot of people are lacking basic manners. Spatial
Well, yeah,
awareness, social awareness.
social awareness, a big one.
What gives you the right to not buy a pair of earphones and stick them in? What gives you the right to make everyone not even get to watch this thing? You just have to listen to it secondhand. You know, you don't even get to enjoy it. What gives you that? Why does everyone think they're so fucking important at the moment? Like, yeah, justified. What do you think? And what would you do about it is the question.
Well, lit a spark, I'm sure, amongst the listeners, this has, because I think the people justifying it might say, oh, they've got it on a level which is loud enough so they can hear it, but it doesn't disturb everybody in the shop because it's not on loudspeaker, that
You're
it's on a
wrong.
phone.
You're wrong.
I'm just I'm just saying what people would say.
Yeah.
Second of all, they'll say it's a free country. I can do what I like,
No,
wherever I like.
that's not true.
Um, I
I
personally,
can't I can't go up and grab your phone and smash it. I'll get in trouble. So it's not a free
well,
country.
I mean, I believe it's why I brought it up. I think it's justified to moan about this because of all the reasons that you said. It's like social etiquette. We live in 2026. Like we've all grown up, schooled and whatever. There's rules, regulations, there's the law, there's this, that, and the other. There's social etiquette, isn't there? That's a sort of unspoken thing. So I think it's justified to say if you're in a room where everybody's peace and quiet, where they're reading a book or they're in quiet contemplation, which is generally the spaces I'm talking about. I'm talking about spaces that are quiet. It's not like we're in a library, but nevertheless, you go somewhere to relax. People are having conversations, different thing. people are quite loud when they have conversations as well. That's another bugbear. But you don't. But the actual sort of music trash on social media scrolling of like really invasive loud sound, I think justified in saying it's completely out of line in a public place. I'm with you on it 100%. But
But what do you do?
it's such a dividing thing. I mean, you might have gone, oh, we're grumpy and old, I'll go straight to that one, but I don't think so. I think
But
a lot of people will think,
do you go and have a word? Do you go
no,
up to them?
no,
No.
no, of
So
course not.
that's the other thing, because that type of person, if you're that selfish, your reaction isn't going to be kind. If you go up to that person and go, I'm so sorry to bother you, but what you're playing is a bit loud. Would you mind turning it down? I would say 100% of the time, that kind of person
Yeah.
isn't going to go, oh, I'm so sorry, of course. They're going to
Yeah,
go,
I mean,
am I
and I'd love,
they're going to do that back, aren't they? We do what I like, the free country. Yeah.
I mean,
So wrong.
I'd love to hear from anybody that has asked someone to turn something down and what happened.
Oh, I do. And I don't ever get a nice reaction. I mean, maybe I'm not very nice about it, but I don't think I should have to. I've done it
So
on a train
you get people saying, "It's none of your bill, shut up, none of your business."
every time.
Right.
And I also get people who sit and tut and make faces and go, oh my God. But then when I say something, they will shit themselves and sit down. I'm like, where were you? Everyone is pissed off at this noise. I will take it on the chin and I will speak up. And then everyone stays silent. And I'm like, isn't everyone in agreement?
But then isn't that is depending on your where you are, is that more about people's social fear of what people will do nowadays?
Yes, but
As
grow a
in
pair.
the safety aspect of it.
All right, I'll give you an example. This is going off on a tangent slightly. But I was on the train the other day coming back from an audition, and there was a young girl opposite me. She was obviously underage, very underage, and she was going to a ballet school. And she sat there and she smiled at me, and I think she was glad that I was sat opposite her. And it was quite a packed train, but not completely packed.
Yeah.
So she sat there. She's obviously probably about 13, 14 years old. She's not of age. She's minding her own business, doing her homework, listening to music. Sweetheart, beautiful girl. And this oik, this middle-aged
Oik.
twat box came and plonked himself next to her. And when they sit over their own seat.
Of course, yeah.
They spread their legs. And he just kept looking over at what she was doing.
Oh my God.
This was at like 6 o'clock. So he'd obviously had a couple of drinks as well. He smelt. He was extremely repulsive. And then he started talking to her and was like, oh, doing your homework or something. Now, he wasn't being friendly. He wasn't just being friendly. For the people out there are like, oh, men can't even. No, you can't talk to a 14-year-old girl who's alone on a train. No, you can't. Ever. Shut your face. Because for that girl, it's not nice. So
Yeah, I
do
agree.
not speak to her. You don't need to. Anyway, I let it go a bit. And then it was getting near to when I was getting off. And he just started talking to her more and more and more. And the train was getting emptier and emptier. Now, if I was said middle-aged, stinky, ugly man,
Mhm.
I would move. I would try not to sit next to her in the first place because you don't have to. It's not your right. It's more about thinking about other people and their comfort. Anyway, he just kept talking to her. So I got up and I thought, I've got to say something before I get off because this poor girl, or I'm going to have to stay on the bloody train to protect her. So I said, excuse me, sir, I'm getting up. So there's loads of seats. Maybe you can take my seat opposite so you're not sat right next to her. And I think she's busy with her homework. So maybe let her get on with her homework. And he was like, yeah, and said some drunk thing. He wasn't abusive. So then I was standing there and a woman opposite me kind of looked at me and I looked at her and I was like, come on, like. And he said something else to her and I said, excuse me, sir, I don't think you should be talking to this girl. Could you please get up and move seats immediately? And that's all I said.
Yes. Come
And
on.
he went, oh, yeah. So he got up and moved. And I looked at the woman and I said, keep an eye. And she nodded. And I was like, great, fine. But in that situation, I know that a lot of men would argue loads of different points. But I think my God, this is what you have to deal with as a young woman, especially. You should not have
Well,
even sat next to her in the first place. Stand
and
up. Like,
had you not been there, I mean, that's quite ballsy what you did. If you asked me, would I have done the same? I definitely would have said something. I don't know what, I don't know how, I'm not afraid in that scenario when there's other people still on the train and I'm not alone with that guy and
mm,
just one other. Because that's the other thing, your spidey sense is like, right, okay, what are the circumstances to this? What have I got here that I can rely on if it all goes bendy? And that
mm.
is what you've got to think. And that's the sad thing in that scenario
And
is that I'm
100% of
sure
women have
you're
experienced that.
you're like, oh, I'm gonna just take a minute to look round, which is what you were doing.
I left it so long. It was a whole train journey. I left it so that when it was clearing, I was trying to give him a chance. I was trying to be like, listen, if he thinks he's being friendly, if he doesn't understand how imposing it is for a big guy to start talking to a very young girl and how you shouldn't really, there's no reason. You don't need to be friendly to a 14-year-old girl. You just don't. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt and I left it a little while. And I
Mm.
think after a while, I'm like, absolutely not. Get up. Don't speak to her. Don't like, it's people like that. And it's because I saw me and I had so many awful, awful experiences growing
I
up,
know.
still do. And I think 100% of women have had some kind of experience.
Yeah.
And I don't think men understand what it's like.
I mean, the again, it's a topic for discussion.
Mm.
We've gone at a tangent,
Of
but
course. But
it's
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 women's
another
safety
example
is
of, do you stand up for yourself? Do you in that
yeah,
cafe go up to that person with a phone and speak to them?
yeah. Well,
Which
I
is
mean,
your
like you
right,
said,
free
nine
country.
times out of 10, you're going to get a very negative response. I would
Yeah.
say one time out of 10, you might get someone going, "Oh God, sorry.
Mm.
Oh, I'm really
And
sorry. I didn't."
normally I'm kinder than that. I was quite firm with him and I wasn't rude, but I was firm because I'd already spoken up and I'd already given him an hour to
Mm,
make better choices. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
then it gets to the point where I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not going to be nice. I'm not going to be rude to you, but I'm just going to say, Get up and move now.
yeah.
Or I'll
And
go and get a
also,
guard
you're
because,
assessing all the time. You're assessing what state they're in. It's not like they're
and how
compass
she
mentis.
was reacting.
Yeah,
She had her earphones in. She was like, yeah, like she was obviously
really
not
uncomfortable.
really uncomfortable, pressed up against the window because he was spreading out, not engaging, felt really self-conscious. She wasn't dressed inappropriately, if that's an argument, but it's not.
Oh my
You could
God,
be
I
in your
can't even
flipping
discuss that.
underwear. It doesn't give anyone the right to sexually assault you. Like it, all of that stuff came into my mind of just like
Yeah.
the anger of positions I've been in life. And I think with the speaking up when it's difficult because you don't want to do it all the time. You don't want to always be that person. But I think sometimes, you know, most people are afraid. And I think sometimes I'll take one for the team and I will calmly just say, excuse me, would you mind turning that down and see where it goes?
I think there are scenarios that I would do that, but I think we both come to the good conclusion on this one.
Not
We're not
grumpy.
just grumpy. I think
But
it's valid.
listeners, let me know all your thoughts because I know, that's why we're here. There's an argument to everything. And I like hearing people's opinions, even if I don't agree. But I think generally having three kids, I don't think they instill enough lessons and constructs about manners and general having manners in life in children. It's kind of the parents' job, and it's really hard to fight against that when other parents don't do it and these kids are
I
exposed
agree.
to other kids in school who don't have manners, and then the teachers are not really instilling those please and thank yous on a daily basis. So
Well, I think manners is generationally a little bit amiss.
yeah.
But again, that's an interesting thing for people to, excuse me, burps, to
Excuse
come in.
me,
I know, rude. To
Windy
come in
Miller.
and offer their viewpoint on, like, I like a viewpoint. Next thing, we ready for the next thing?
I'm ready, Lindsay, Auntie
I
Lindsay.
mean, I'm going to do just one more on this because we did go off
All
at
right.
tangent.
I went off
Um,
it. I do that.
because excitingly, before we end today, we've had somebody call in with a question for us, which I'll come to. I know, I know, I know. I did put the number out last time on the
Oh, oh,
podcast.
oh.
Oh, and we've got our first genuine question for a feature that would probably become midlife advice from Abby and Lynn's, or something of that
It's
nature
very sweet.
anyway.
If anyone wants advice from us,
I mean, I'd love,
don't take the advice.
I think advice could be interesting from us in whatever context the question is. But the
Yeah.
second thing that I want to discuss, whether or not it's just being grumpy or justified, is slightly on the route of having your phone with you everywhere.
Mm.
Taking pictures of food
Meh.
and or videos and uploading them going, hashtag egg brunch or
Okay. I think two things I think are not,
oh,
doesn't make me angry. You can take pictures of whatever you want, but fine. I have done it a couple of times in very
have
special,
you?
yeah, in really special circumstances. Let's say someone's taken me out for a birthday afternoon tea and it looks beautiful.
And it's getting cold and you're
And
busy taking a picture of it.
yeah, I want to remember that moment and how stunning it was. I will, on occasion, take the odd pic, but I don't generally. I've probably got three on my phone. But I think it depends what it's for. You don't, again, this is difficult, isn't it? You don't know why that person is taking a photo. Maybe their parent passed away and it reminds them of something magical. I don't
Oh my
know.
God.
I'm just and
Me
they
even
want to
bringing it up now. I look
they
like
want to
such an
take a
evil.
photo to kind of memorialize something. I try not to prejudge when someone isn't doing something harmful. I don't think it harms anyone taking pictures of your food.
Okay, so
What's your take?
um it's a context thing. I agree with you because I've done it. And I've done it when it's been a really nice occasion and I don't want to do the cheesy selfie. I just want to do the food and the glass of wine picture because I can look at it and go, "Oh, that was the night we went to,
Yeah,
say it's you and me going out for some beautiful thing that we would never usually do. We've done it before
yeah.
where we've had a cocktail or whatever and you're like, I'm going to take a little picture of that because I was with my bestie then, and every
Because
time I
I
look at the
never have
picture,
pictures of us because we forget because we're too busy fucking talking. So we don't ever memorialize
I know.
anything.
But we need to do that more actually, and I was
Yeah.
thinking that because I was looking back on pictures of Bordeaux. For the listeners that are new to the podcast, we went on a little girly trip thanks to Abby, um,
I
who
took
surprised me with
Lindsay on a
loveliness, took
romantic.
me on a romantic break to Bordeaux, and it was brilliant. It was exactly what I needed.
Mm,
But we've got some lovely pictures from that. But
yeah.
it is. I think I am by bringing it up. Obviously, I'm teasing, but it is a grumpiness at times where I see people, the things that make me get grumpy. I don't think it's we can say it's justified at all because obviously we've done it. But the thing where people are sort of directing people with them and the thing like it's a photo shoot for Vogue, and they're talking about it as an influencer, and I've been in a restaurant where they've let their food go cold
Mm.
to get the angles and to get the video. And I've just thought, what's the point in that? That's the only thing. So it's me being grumpy.
I don't
There is
feel
an
like
angle to it that I think is like,
I don't know whether that's grumpy. I feel pity because of the world has pushed people into thinking that it's important to share pictures of your food. I feel sorry for them because
yeah,
I think that it's not just food, it's every day, isn't it? It's seeing people not enjoying life because they're too busy trying to take a picture or video of it or post it when you generally don't look back at your pictures. I do try to, but they're not. I feel sorry for them because I feel like they're not in the moment. They're not with that person. They're not
that's
enjoying it.
exactly it. Yeah. I mean, in this one occasion that I can remember really vividly, I was playing a opening of a revamp of a restaurant and I was playing saxophone for everyone. Uh, lovely ambience, like chilled out, like loveliness, like, and everyone's, they're eating. It's beautiful, beautiful decor. It's all been redone. Amazing occasion. You're only very rarely going to go to a restaurant opening and then have live music and whatever. And it was a chain, so it's not like they do it every week. And look around, and the majority of people were just absolutely in the moment. They're not taking pictures.
Mm,
They're eating this food. They're listening to what I'm doing. Mad, I know. They're listening to what I'm doing. They're having moments with family, with their little children, whatever. And then there was this one couple that was sat. I couldn't avoid them. everything went cold. The guy opposite, because the woman was the influencer, literally was like this,
Mm,
hating his life,
mm,
waiting around for her to finish what she's doing while the food's getting cold, all the way through the meal, stopping them to take a video every. I mean, it was that extreme. And I just thought, there's not a bit of you that will leave that restaurant and remember what that felt like.
mm.
Not for a moment. So I'm trying quite hard to not always get my camera out at the minute, to also just enjoy the thing for a bit.
I'm not a big phone person, and I try not to have my phone like look at it all the time. I've seen a few things lately that have been advertised where you leave your phone at the door.
What do you think about that?
I think it's a fucking awesome idea.
Yes, me too.
There was
Me too.
it was like a middle-aged day disco, of course, for people of our age who, you know, and I think some of people of our age are really bad at buying into the whole phone thing. Like I have noticed it's not generational at all.
No,
Like
no, no, not
some
at all.
younger people are more adverse to like people my age and older. Sometimes elderly people are always on their fucking phone. You're like, oh my God, I know it's fun, but like you remember enjoying life? So I think the
Yeah.
idea of
It's not
forcibly,
generational, you're right. And I
no.
think I think the people who are like are not young. I think I see people sat around middle age and like you say, elderly that are stuck to devices.
Okay, here's one for you
Literally.
really quickly. Is this ADHD or grumpy? I've changed the title of your thing.
Yeah.
ADHD or grumpy? Old people, and I am generalizing because it's not all old people, but what I have personally experienced
I loved it. I don't know what's coming next, guys.
have the sound that goes dip, 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 every time. So when you're sending
Yeah.
a message, dunk, 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 like that, and I am absolutely bereft. Like I don't, yeah,
Yeah.
I each noise is like a stick up my vagina. Like it really hurts me. I hate that kind of sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
And why? Why the fuck do
Key
you
click.
why? You can see the words. If you're blind and you can't see, then it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't add anything. I don't understand why. And I hear it a lot.
Do you know what I think it is with a certain group of elderly? Not
Mm,
all.
yeah.
It is a genuine inability to turn it off in the settings
You might be right. Yes.
because they don't know how to. It just came with the phone.
It just gives me the absolute. And
I
also, I
want
think sometimes those people can't hear it as well. The irony is
no.
they're deaf enough
Clack,
they
clack, clack,
can't
clack,
hear
clack.
the clack, 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 clack.
I
Or
want to go. I've actually thought about going up to somebody and saying
can I help you?
before, with the sound because I agree. I
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it and
yeah.
I've heard it. Do you want your settings? Do you want me to help you with your settings?
Yes. Yeah.
For fear of, and they'll probably go, get off. No,
Yeah.
because obviously there's fear for them from anyone asking them anything because they're worried. But I think not all of it. I think part of it is with very elderly having no clue.
Yeah.
All they're able to do is type a number, and that sound is ingrained
But
or
even
in a
taking
message.
taking age out of the equation, why does it exist? I'd love to know because you don't really need to hear to verify what you can see on the screen, do
I
you?
think some
Does it
people
help?
feel a comfort in hearing the click, like we would on a laptop,
Yeah.
to know that that's registered that digit.
Mm. No, thank you.
I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate on this one.
No. All right, fine. Go on.
um, right.
What's our what's our question? What's our
Our
question?
question, right? Do you want to
From
hear our question because it's been sent in?
yeah.
Okay. And thank you very much, by the way. We shall keep it anonymous. We know who sends the questions in, but it's just good for our listeners to hear genuine questions. And then they don't get shy about sending them in because we don't have to name you. We can name you if you choose, but we're going to keep this anonymous because if the
Send us
person is,
send us some questions. We're boring and we need other people to make it
please,
lively.
please. All right, here we go.
Hey, my question is, What is the best way to juggle being in this industry and also having a social life? Hey, my question is, what
You
is the
only need to
best
play
way
it
to
once.
juggle being in this industry and also having a social life?
Can I just say my favorite bit of that is the giggle?
Yeah, cute as
Uh,
hell.
very,
Thank you
very
so
cute.
much. Okay. Do you want to go first, Lindsay Lonzy?
Lindsay Lonzo. Well, I'm very aware of time as well at the moment,
Yeah.
in this episode. So I'm going to keep this briefer than I would usually do because I've got a lot to say about the balance between having a social life and doing this. For me personally, um, I'm going to say what fucking social life? Um,
Yes.
because I have yet to come up with a formula that sorts out me having any kind of social life within the world of performing without it encroaching a lot of things and has done for most of my life, to be honest.
Hmm.
I do think some people strike a really nice balance. I'd love you to come on and tell me how to sort my life out and get that. But the problem for me is, in answer to that question, you're eternally filling your diary because you're freelance and you go where the work goes. Then all the prep that's around it, that's all free, but you've still got to do it. And if you don't do it, you're not ready for the gig, which runs into then admin time, which runs into la 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 la. Now, there is an argument I know that says set aside 2 days a week where you go, right, that's I'm not going to do any devices, I'm going to go off grid, I'm going to do nice things. The reality of doing that in a performer's life where you know that you've got to check at least once a day your phone because you might get offered a gig, you might get offered a show, you might get offered an audition, you might get the actual chances of going off grid and having a social life, I would say less than 5%.
Yeah.
What do you think, pal?
There's two sides to this. One is just speaking musical theatrally, is that you're not allowed. So I don't know what people know about theatre, but you don't. I mean, I know you don't in most jobs, but you don't have your birthday off. You don't have time off. Like
No,
I've
not
done
at all.
two shows Christmas Day before. Like you don't have the possible days off and holidays. You don't really take sick days because you don't get paid and it's frowned upon. So people power through even when they have horrible contagious diseases. They still come into the building
Well,
and think they're doing the best thing by doing the show. Like what a trooper! And everyone else is like, oh my God, you're going to pass it to the rest of us.
that's why I've got a cold.
Yes. So you get sick and then you pass it to other people because you can't cancel your work. But in theatre specifically, I know people who've got married and not been able to have a honeymoon because they expect you back at work
Yeah.
like the next day. Funerals, you have to fight to be able to go to things. If there's weddings, I don't think I've ever been to a friend's wedding,
No,
birthday, anything.
that's a big no-no, isn't it? And
And
whenever we've done that.
you can't just take days off. You just don't, unless you're a musician and you're a pit musician and you can dep, which is different. When
But
you're in a show,
even
even
now, I
now,
would say that is a thing of the past. I think people are they're very strict on, certainly on musicals, I'm talking. They're
I
very
think it's
strict
more
now.
frowned upon. Yeah.
They're now much stricter on how many times you can do that.
Yes, but if you're a performer, you
Much
can't do it
stricter.
at all. You're not
Yeah,
you can't just
100%.
take a show off because you got a better job. Like you can't
Yeah,
leave a show. You can't. There's no freedom. So I've never been to friends. I've missed 30th, 40th,
yeah, likewise.
everything. And you just get used to it, really, and you get used to not seeing your friends and family. But then on the other side, so I would say, just looking at the two of us, you would think on paper I am much busier and have a lot less time than you because I have three children. I have three more mouths to feed, kids to clothe, take backwards and forwards to school and clubs 24/7 on the weekend. There's so much.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that you have any more free time than I do.
No,
And I've learned over time that when I didn't have kids and I didn't have a partner, I didn't feel like I had any more time. I think the important thing
well,
is to try and prioritize yourself and
yeah,
you make that time no matter how busy you are, because I think
yeah.
it is difficult and it is frowned upon and it's still a big stigma in the musical world to take time off, especially for
Mm,
mental health as well. I didn't do something one year because I just really mentally wasn't in the right place. I bowed out. I never got asked back again. That's just the way it is. You know, you've lost that job forever, which is sad because it's a valid reason. I was at the start of menopause. I was very unhappy, but it doesn't matter. I've lost that job now.
Well, and people don't like, I appreciate that you can look at me with my lifestyle, look at you with your lifestyle, but still respect me enough that I'm 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 up to my eyeballs and I've got genuine things that take all my time.
Hmm.
People from the outside could look at me and go, well, you should have all the time in the world to socialize.
Mm,
If only they could just travel along with me for a week, they would
mm,
understand that even without kids in a male dominated industry of trying to make yourself valid and keep working,
mm,
what it actually takes to sort of keep the momentum going. And even now, like, you know, it's quite a lean time of year, with all of that you expend, you get very little return on it and you still get no social life. So I'm with you on I agree with you. It was just perpetual until you say, like we do, we're going to do that. We're going to put that in the diary. This podcast is a fine example of we've got
mm,
no time, but now we've
mm.
got time. It's a
I, w-
fine example of that.
I would also say, looking back on my career, fuck 'em. You know, I didn't think that for many years, and I was always very like eager to please. And I think I missed you. You have to be clever and you have to be careful. People who dip out to go to an audition or a concert or something and they get
Yeah.
caught, idiot. But let's say, I don't know, it's your mum's 70th birthday
Yeah.
and she
I'd say
really wants you
go.
there. I'd say fucking go, fuck them, because you have to know those moments are important
Yeah.
and go. And I missed those in life. I missed so many. I missed
So
so
did
much
I.
with my dad. I was so lucky that when my dad was, I didn't know he was going to die, but we thought, he was very sick, that I was lucky to be doing a show where
Yeah.
the producers were really sweet about it. And I was able to dip out, sadly, because I really wanted to do the show, but I got to spend a little bit of time with him. And I'm glad that I was like, fuck them. Whether they say they were really nice, but if they weren't, I'd still would have gone, no, this is, and I think that's the thing. Doesn't matter how little time you have, it doesn't matter the pressures. You know what's important. Make that time and make that time for yourself. Make sure that in this
And
industry,
for others that you want to see and it be like quality time.
yeah, but
Like
make quality time for you as well. Like you're
yeah,
the priority, whether that is spending time with your friends or getting your nails done, getting your hair, look after yourself because it's very easy
yeah,
in this industry to not. You put
agreed.
yourself last. You want to please everyone. You want to do a good job. You work your ass off. If you're that kind of person, and you see a lot of people who don't work their ass off and they're treated better than you, and it builds resentment. And you. I wish I'd have put myself first more and spent more time.
And I think in answer to that very lovely question, I would just say that's a very wise thing. It's just self-love, self-care, preserve your peace, say no. I'm saying all these
Yes.
things because, and also in hindsight, family, if you have the privilege of family and because some people I know don't, but family, whatever your family looks like, doesn't have to be blood,
Mm,
or people that you love and people who bring out the best in you. Nothing's actually more important than that in hindsight. Having lost my
yeah.
mum, I like you, I had loads of touring theatre shows all in one go. It took me away from everybody, everything.
Mm,
When I look back now, to not have done one of them and to had two, three, four, five, I know it's hindsight,
mm,
more trips up to Scotland with more memories, more things,
mm,
more wholesome things that would be in here now, I'd trade it all.
yeah.
I'd trade it all. So, you kind of you've summarized it, but I think in answer to that lovely question, we both sort of saying we're not great at it, and it is a very big challenge when you're starting out.
Mm,
But if you start out with the right mantra of, you almost have to schedule you. I think now what I do in the week is schedule me time. I'm going to do this.
mm,
And then when someone asks me, whoever that is, I go, I'm busy on that, even though it's not busy. It's a day that you go, I'm not doing anything.
yeah.
I'm
And
I'm
and
now doing that.
like you say no. Don't be afraid. I think that's one thing I'm really proud of is that I said no to some really big jobs that would have looked great on my CV, but I just wasn't feeling it. It was my personal choice. And the pressure around you is huge. It's immense.
Yeah.
And, you have to put everyone aside and be like, I don't care what all these people are saying. What's my gut saying? If you say I'm going to regret it, fine. I'd rather regret it and make my own decision than go along with it and regret it. And I think I've done that a couple of times where it's, well, I need money and I need this job and I need this thing and I'm going to miss this massive life experience. I think, no, like you say, if you know it's important, more time with my dad, I'd trade everything for.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We're both on the same page. Also, I'll say at this point, thank you. If you want to submit a question, funny or otherwise, serious, whatever, if you want to submit a question to us, that would be really great because we're going to do this. If we get them in, we'll do it every week as a feature. The number will be on the screen that you can text it to, voice note it to. Do, 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 do. And along with that, it's probably the right time to say, we only grow and get good content from you and likes and shares and people interacting. I know people are shy. I'm realizing probably for you as well that you encourage people to send you messages or write something, especially on the actual episode on Spotify. You can write something. You can actually put a message on there,
Mm.
not just on media. You can go onto the episode on Spotify and write a comment, which I think we've got a comment from my dad.
Daddy,
My dad, my lovely
of
dad,
course. But
who's
feel
an
free
avid
to.
listener in
We,
the Highlands every week, of course, our biggest fan, which we love.
we will take
Um,
any feedback, won't we?
but yeah, not being afraid to send in a voice note message or opinion or question and engage, write down in the episode suggestions and ideas. Sometimes I've put down polls for people and nobody's done them because nobody knows they're there. But if you go to each episode, generally I'll ask you a question and get your opinion online for you to answer a poll question as well. So
And
all of those things.
we're pretty chilled. Some episodes are crap. It doesn't matter. We're just chatting shit. And the more that you interact, the more you're helping two old ladies
Yeah.
have a little bit because this is a menopause podcast, not solely, but it is two women who sometimes struggle thinking of things, and sometimes, Lindsay's brilliant at it, but just having the time and the thought to be like, right, what can we talk about today? You could help two old ladies out, give us some topics, give us some
I mean,
things.
actually, we had lots else down today, which we'll do next
Yeah.
time, but it's turned into quite a nice chit chat today, to be honest, and nice contributions from people. And hopefully, I mean, we've had a guest, haven't we?
Yeah.
Dan was wonderful, and we've had lots of nice feedback on his episode actually, so that's been great, and so we're very grateful for that. But obviously, keep your eyes peeled and keep telling people to follow because we will have a guest soon, another guest, a different type of guest to the podcast. Maybe not on the next episode, but certainly very soon. But yeah, do you have any Jerry Springer final thoughts for our listeners before we sign off?
I think my general final thought at the moment, and I'm trying to instill it in myself, and it's really hard, but it's just go easy on yourself. I have felt really up and down because I've spent this last year trying to work on myself, trying to build a career again from nothing, look after the kids, deal with the whole divorce, find money, do everything. And for a little bit, I felt good and my pain was a bit less and I felt on a really good track. And then it slumps and I'm in a lot of pain at the moment. I'm not getting anywhere with my health journey. And I've had some really teary days, full on crying in front of the kids, just felt really awful. I hate crying in front of them because they get upset, but just couldn't control myself. And I think everyone should just go easy on yourself a bit. If you don't get out of bed and you just cry and you watch a film and you just, that's all you do, fine. Try not to do it every day, but just let yourself just be sometimes. I think we're busier than ever in 2026, and I don't think we need to be. I think I really need to look at how to slow life down because I think we consume so much and we put so much pressure on ourselves. I don't think we need to. So just go easy on yourself, Linz, and people out there. What about you, Jerry?
I I'm going to advocate this now because I'm learning more and more about it every day, and I'm still really crap at it. But whatever that looks like, however, I would say whatever you're doing in any capacity in your day, if you can find 5 minutes to meditate every single day, not as a chore, as a moment, it will give you an inner peace that you weren't able to access in moments of very lots of loud noise. So by meditate, I don't just mean going in a dark room and
Mm.
it's, do it at 8 o'clock. I mean finding 5 minutes to actually just do that, to shut your eyes and just take 5 proper minutes on a timer where you just let your brain settle.
What would your advice be for people with um, neurodivergence, busy brains? Like, do you have any tips and tricks? Because I've tried to meditate for years and I can't. And I'm sure there is a way, but I've tried every bit of advice. I find it really difficult for my brain to be quiet. Have you got anything specifically that you do that you think is a really good tip or trick?
Something that got me into it is the thing in the beginning where you can do it for ages and ages and only just do that, where you can literally just stick on any kind of music you want, as long as it's relaxing, as long as it's not overstimulating. There's lots of stuff out there on Spotify, whatever you can put on. But for me, it isn't even about necessarily someone talking you through a meditation. You get even 5 minutes
Mm,
of somebody talking with you. And the problem is, if you have a neurodivergent brain, is you end up, your brain will start to analyze what they're saying
hmm Or I find their
rather
voice
than,
annoying
right.
often.
So take that away.
Mm,
Just put something on that's going to be not distracting. And then all I've done is start very simply with just closing my eyes and just listening to my breathing and put a timer on. So you just, as simple as it is, you just think we're very good at it as singers.
mm,
I do somebody advised me to start small and it really works. Like you breathe in, fill up your lungs, you hold it for 4 seconds and then you let it go. But you don't let it go like, you see some people that do it and you're like, they're over the top. You know what I mean?
don't do
By that, I
that.
mean, by that, natural breathing, all you're doing is filling your lungs like you would do if you were going to do a vocal exercise, but you're consciously holding it because then you have to think where that is in the space. And then as you let it go, but you don't do like, I'm meditating, everyone. Listen to my breathing. You do, for me, I just go, so it's a control out. No one's around, no one's looking at me,
Mm,
but I'm actually just controlling breathing. And that's really the basis of meditation.
mm,
It's not how am I supposed to be doing it? Does it have to be this loud? Have I got to make this sound that people make? No,
mm.
you haven't even got to make a sound. The point I'm learning is just the stillness and the peace. So my advice to you would be don't see it as a meditation. Don't have voices on. Don't
Yeah.
have someone guiding you through it. If you've got any kind of neurodivergent, that's going to get in the way. And you don't necessarily have to do it with your eyes closed, sat down, being still.
Mm,
So I tend to, if I'm on a walk, I'll go, right, just for the next sort of couple of minutes. Well, even if I've got something quite lively on, but it's sort of like whatever, and I'm used to listening to it, I'm going to just think about my paces and how I breathe. And it doesn't have to be longer than a couple of minutes, 5 minutes. But what happens is your brain then comes back into vision about what you're doing, whether it's shopping or this and that. And you're like, oh, yeah, your nervous system's gone down a peg, without you even knowing it.
mm.
I mean, for what it's worth, that's what I would say is my thought of the day.
Thanks, Auntie Lindsay.
But also, I can't be fucking with that. But it, I've had a very troubling year, and it's the only thing that's changed how peaceful I feel.
Mm.
Genuinely. No, I haven't paid subscriptions to anything. I haven't, I'm not taking extra supplements, nothing. It's the one thing I've changed since the beginning of the year to try and do every single day. And it might be just before I go to bed.
Mm.
First thing in the morning I find trickier, but people say it's better for you first thing in the morning because it sets you up. But I don't think you should give yourself any rules, because that's where it all goes wrong for me.
Yeah.
I go, I'm failing, and then I stop doing it.
Well, and first thing in the morning, I have 3 small people shouting at me on a loop. Ma'am, there's no toilet roll.
Yeah, it's
Ma'am,
not
my
just.
shoes
I
have poo
think
in them.
evening meditation's a good place to start.
Yeah.
But not even use the word. I would just say evening space, like whatever.
Yeah.
Because you sort of you probably actually find yourself with 5 minutes to do that anyway. Maybe you light a candle and you get into bed and you're like, that'll be the time.
Mm.
Because they say before you go to sleep as well, if you can just get rid of, you say a mantra to yourself where you can just get rid of anything that negative that's not serving you, let it go. I'm going to go to sleep and that's all going to be gone. And I'm going to just go to sleep feeling love, peace, gratitude for my kids, and then go to sleep on that thought.
Live, laugh, love.
I mean,
Live, laugh, love.
I could do a whole episode on well-being, but you'll be like, bore off, Boresville.
Yeah, we won't do that. We'll do something more interesting, won't we?
We will. We'll definitely do something more interesting. Rude.
Other ways to calm your system. We'll do an episode on that.
Yeah. We have a plethora of ideas, by the way, so keep tuned.
Yeah.
That was really nice, mate.
Nice, mate.
I will look forward to our next one, and feeling a bit less bunged up, I think would be good.
Yeah.
So what was I saying? I was slaying. Lost my thought, but I'm still amazing. So what was I saying? Keep on playing. Midlife magic, man, I put a good still blazing.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.